Misunderstand this verse by just taking the verse, forgetting what is behind me, and continue living. Okay, I'll forget about that, and I'll just continue doing what I have to do. And that, church, leads us to being unaccountable for our actions. And just forgetting what we've done and should be accountable for. Accountable to your spouse. Accountable to your children. Accountable to your family. Yes, even accountable to your employer. One of the things that I've discovered working in the prison system is accountability. I've never had this much accountability in my life. In not that I've worked so long or whatever, although I think I have, hopefully it's time for me to retire at some point and retire early, if I could do that. And if I look back at all the jobs that I've had, I've never had that much accountability in my life. Well, what does that mean? I can teach and I can do all these things, but I'm not really that accountable to my students. I could be accountable to a certain point. But to the prison system, to the state of California, to all the things that we have to do, all the paperwork and all the computer work and all the babysitting and all the disciplining that I have to do in my classroom, my goodness, I've never known accountability to be this hard. But that's exactly what accountability is. We have been given responsibilities. And if we do not do our responsibilities, if we do not do our job, if we do not live the life that the Lord has called you and I to, then we are misunderstanding this verse by just forgetting what's behind, forgetting and leaving what's behind, because this is the key, straining and pressing towards something, and that, church, leads us to being accountable for our actions, the ones that happened even 4 weeks ago. Just forgetting what we've done is incomplete. We need to be accountable also. And more importantly, not just accountable to your wife, to your husband, to your family, to your children, to your employer, to your parents, but more importantly, accountable to the Lord. And once again, look back at the last 4 weeks and go ahead and summarize it. Go ahead and kind of in your head kind of go, this is what has happened in the last 4 weeks of my life. That was a month full of distrust. That was a month full of forgetting to pray. That could be a month forgetting to be accountable to someone. That was a month of selfishness for me. That was a month of things that I want the world, a situation where I want the world to revolve around me. Me and only me and no one else. The last 4 weeks I neglected to show love to others. I neglected to show love to my family. I neglected to show love to my spouse. While expecting everyone else to love me. Yes, Paul said forgetting what is behind, but it also says pressing and straining, because there has to be a change in what has happened behind. There has to be a change, there has to be a transformation in the heart, so that whatever happened in the last 4 weeks is given to Him. And whatever is in front of us needs to help, and it needs to be a miraculous change in our lives that can only come from God. And finally, another, that's not finally yet. So you're like, oh, great. No, not yet. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Again, a verse that is so familiar to us that everyone knows it. Everyone probably loves it. Everyone keeps it in their wallets. Everyone puts it in their cars. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we what? Do not see. Now I want you to look at the word now. That word can mean time, right? Meaning now. What is happening now? What Pastor Jay is preaching. What is happening now when one of you is sleeping? Well, what is happening now? One of you is looking at your phone, checking Facebook. I don't know, something else. What is happening now? I'm hungry. My stomach is grumbling. What is happening now? The word now means it's going to be the time, a time element, right? And that word can mean time, as I said. But in the original text, it has nothing to do with time. It's not saying that now you gotta do this. Now faith is this. that is why I want you to kind of back up a little bit and look at the very last verse. You can even look at the first and last 3 verses, but that's okay. We can only look at the last verse, that's fine. And so this is what Hebrews chapter 10, verse 39 says. But we do not belong to those who shrink back and are destroyed, but to those who have faith and are saved. And that's the key words. Those who have faith and are saved. If you believe that Jesus Christ died for you and his death saved you, then you need to have a new mindset, a new worldview, a new opinion, a new attitude, a new vocabulary, and yes, a new lifestyle. And this new you can only happen when you let him change you. In the natural, you and I will fail. In the natural, you and I will come up empty. But in faith, we will receive all that God has promised. Even though my natural eye can't see it, my spiritual eyes can see it. Even though everyone else says it's not going to work, because we cannot see it working, our faith needs to be confident of what we hope for. And who is that for? Those who believe that Jesus Christ died for their sins and is saved. Now you do this. Now there needs to be a change. Now there needs to be a transformation. We also need to live in the principle of, I know who holds my tomorrow. Not sure if I put this verse on my list, but it comes from Revelation 1:8, and it simply says, God is Alpha and Omega. He is the what? Beginning and the end. And sometimes you're like, why is it that it's Alpha and Omega? It has something to do with God. It has something to do with the beginning and being at the end. In a world of uncertainty, there still is one thing that is certain. And a lot of people love this talk or this statement that I don't have to know everything about my tomorrows. I just have to know who holds my tomorrow, right? A lot of people love that statement that I don't have to know everything about my tomorrow. What's going to happen in the next few months of this presidency? What's going to happen in immigration? What's going to be happening in the economy? I don't know. And I don't need to know everything about that tomorrow. But guess what? I know who holds my tomorrow. And it's not the President of the United States. It's not the Congress of the United States. It's not a certain party. It's not a certain kind of people. But I may not know what my tomorrow holds, but I know exactly who holds my tomorrow. And that's the principle that we all need to have in our lives. If he is already ahead of me, and maybe you don't really need to care about the beginning. We're here, done deal. But what's more important to me is the end. What is my end? To know that God already is there, even before I get there, is the best knowledge to have. One of the things that I love praying for, and I pray that you will also incorporate in your prayers, is this. Wherever you're going, whatever's going to happen, you're facing a surgery, you're facing an interview, you're facing a drive.